Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Xacta Tidbits. I'm John Denny with the Telos Corporation. We have a great episode for you today. We're going to be demonstrating and showing you the brand new Xacta 360 version 2.0. I know what you're already asking yourselves now that you've heard that. When is Xacta 360 version 2.0 going to come to the 16th Air Force? Well, right now we're working on building out the training for the Air Force Cybersecurity University so that we can present everybody with the brand new Xacta 360 version 2.0. And our infrastructure team within the 16th Air Force is going to be working hard along with the rest of our Telos team to make sure that we have a good product ready for you to go. And we're expecting to see that around the summer of 2024. So that is what's going on within the 16th Air Force. But we are here today to show you all the new pieces and parts of the user interfaces within Xacta 360 2.0. I'm excited and you should be excited too. So I'll tell you what, let's jump in and see all the new stuff about Xacta 360 version 2.0.
All right, everybody, welcome to the brand new splash page for the Xacta 360 version 2.0. This is our login warning. We will go ahead and accept the login warning. And I am going to log into Xacta 360 as a user. Now that I've logged in as a user, the first thing that we notice inside of the brand new Xacta 360 version 2.0 is that everything looks a little bit different on the home page here. We now have different pieces and parts that we can navigate to by going around and clicking the different areas here about pieces. One of the other new features that is involved on the home page is our enterprise level search for projects. This is going to be extremely useful for people like assessment engineers and DAOs when they receive an email that says, hey, can you look at project XYZ, whatever it is. So I could search in here for all projects that start with AF.00, or I could put in the rest of it, but I'm going to search for just those projects. And we can see here that based off of the parameters, I'm finding all of the projects that start with AF.00. Or I could put in the full project name and it would show me and find me that one individual project. So it's a very quick way to be able to find your projects instead of having to dig around or search around through the projects that way. But probably the biggest area that we're going to be working with inside of our projects area will be the My Projects. Now across the top bar here, we have a lot of the same areas that we had before in the regular Xacta 360. We have the home page. We have our projects, which will allow us to look at our assignments, our projects, and then any recent projects that we may have worked with. And then, of course, we have the My Approvals button, and then the reports, which gives us the different levels of reports and pieces that we can look at for our different reports. But let's dig in and see what's now new about looking at our project. So when you first log into Xacta 360, we are going to go directly into the My Projects area. This is where we go to all of our projects. And from here, we see that the projects list looks very similar to what we had in the older version of Xacta 360. The differences here, though, with this new user interface is we now have nice bright colors for things. So our impact levels are colored. We have some that are moderate, which has the amber color, and we have one that is high, which has the red color. Also, our security level, which is our information type, is going to show up color-coded as well. So amber for moderate, red for high, and then green for our low. So in this case, the information type for this first top project here is a moderate low, and that is color coded appropriately. We also see the other pieces that we would normally see, like what is its assessment status. This project currently has an ATO that expires in 2027, and it is inheriting some things from our common control providers. Now, if you're not seeing all of these columns when you look inside of your Xacta 360, you only need to click that view options, just like we did in the original version of Xacta 360, and we could choose which columns that we want to display. So if I don't want to display the labels, or I don't want to display the folder, I could uncheck those two pieces here. Or if I don't want to show the tracking number either, then I can click that save button. It is now updated, and now when I'm looking at my projects, I get a much more streamlined view of what I'm looking at. So I can choose whatever I want to look at by doing this. We also have across the top here where we can view things between our project list and our assignments. Now, the easiest way to go in and look to see whether or not we have a particular process step or something like that that's waiting on us is to always look in the assignments area here. So when we do look at the assignments area, we can see that here are our different projects and here are the different tasks. So this is a little bit different than the older version. The older version of Xacta 360 used to show you your tasks first and then your projects. But now we're showing it with the projects first on the left-hand side, then the tasks, what their status is, the different roles and approvals and pieces like that along the way. But let's say I was looking to see if there were some different tasks that were waiting for me. I can then sort this by the task level. So if I was an assessment engineer and I was looking for things that were in critical design review, I could sort by task in the assignments area, and it immediately shows me all the different projects that are in CDR. So I can see right now that I have a project here that is waiting for me to do the CDR for it. I also can see down here, if I was an ISM, I can see any projects that are waiting their preliminary design reviews, which would be listed here, and I can see every project that is assigned to me that is awaiting their PDR. This also gives us a quick way to be able to see how many of our projects or which projects are in continuous monitoring, so we can look and see whether or not we have projects that are in continuous monitoring and pieces like that. So for the information system environment changes, this project here is the one project that I have that is in continuous monitoring at this time. So there's different ways to be able to sort. We can also sort in the other way. We could sort in descending order as well instead of sorting in ascending order. And we can see here that there is something that is waiting for approval. So I can always look at that as well by looking at my task status. So you can sort by task status. I will sort the opposite way, and we can see that there is something here that has been submitted for approval. In this case, that's the monitoring strategy and SSP approval. I can see it's submitted, and I can also see who am I waiting to approve this. Well, I'm the ISM. I'm awaiting for this to be approved for this, and I have 10 days left to approve that. So again, this is very similar to the way that Xacta 360 works from the older version to the 2.0. It's just the way that things are laid out is a little bit more user-friendly now across the screen, which is nice. Let's go back to our project list, and we see here that we have 4 projects that are assigned to us. And we're just going to go into one of our projects. Let's go into the Test 2 project here. So we're going to go into this project. And one of the pieces that we see already is the layout is completely different than what we're used to seeing. From here, we can see that we're viewing this by the tasks that are assigned to us, which is my tasks. And this is the view that you should be in, depending on what your role is. But we are now looking at here as my tasks, and for this project, I have 2 different roles. I can be the ISM and I can be the ISO. And to switch roles is very easy. If I want to switch roles between ISM and ISO, all I have to do is click the button. And now I'm the ISO in the project. And if I click it back again, now I'm back as being the ISM. So it's very quick to be able to switch between your roles. Instead of having to use a drop down, we now have buttons up here where I can switch between my different roles. Now, as the ISM, I can see here that there are 5 active tasks: information system description, preliminary design review, security control implementation, and then the 2 steps that are always open for me as a site personnel, which are general information and FSMA reporting. Now, as I'm looking at these different steps and the processes that are contained within them, I can see right now that information system description has 15 process steps, and 0 of 15 of those process steps have been completed. So none of the process steps for information system description have been completed yet. Now, if I wanted to know what are the different process steps for information system description, like what are these 15 steps that it's talking about here? Right here on information system description, I have a little drop down for the process steps. And if I click on it, this is going to show me my 15 different process steps that I need to go through. This also gives me a quick way to be able to go to a process step automatically. So if I wanted to go to my equipment inventory, I could click right here and it would dump me right into that area. I can also see that as an ISM, I do have the full read and write capabilities for information system description. I also have it for PDR as well. But if I switch back over to the ISO, we can see here that the ISO does not have full capabilities for PDR. They have read only. So this is another way to be able to quickly tell whether or not you can work one of the process steps or not. So this one has a read only capability, meaning as an ISO, I can't do anything for PDR. I can look at it and view it, but I cannot do any of the process steps for it. So we'll switch back over to the ISM role one more time. Now, another great piece on here is when we are looking at our different tasks, like information system description. At any point, if I want to know what different roles can do different things for information system description, instead of having to go back and consult a worksheet or try to figure it out from some Excel spreadsheet or something like that, I can click right here on the roles feature. And the roles feature are going to tell me every role that has been assigned to this. So I can see that these are the different roles. The ISI, ISO, and PM have full access here, whereas there are other people like the SCA has read-only access, the AE has read-only access, but the AO, DAOR, DAO, and ISM here, they have full access, but they are also listed as approvers for information system description. And we can also see how many days that are required for the approval as well. So this gives you the quick view to be able to see who has the access, who has the full read and write access to it, who are the approvers for it, and how many days are the approvals for these different tasks. We can also look at PDR. If you look at the roles for the PDR, you can see here the ISM has full rights, and the ISM is the sole approver, and they have 10 days to approve this once it goes into an approval status. Now, when we're looking at different pieces and parts, we can see over here, those are my active tasks, but I also have tasks that are waiting for approval, and I have tasks that are already completed. So these tasks that are already completed are showing up over here. So security categorization and common and security control selection are already completed. Now, common and security control selection is something that is currently read-only, because as an ISM or ISO, I don't have access to this. So who has access to this? Well, if I look at the roles, this is an AO, DAO, and DAOR role. We can see here that nobody else has full read and write access to it. And the approvers for this is the AO and the DAO, and they have 5 days in which to approve this. But here I am looking at my monitoring strategy and SSP approval. This is requiring for me to approve something. I have 10 days to approve this as the ISM. Now, if I was the ISO, I can see in here that this is waiting for approval, but there's nothing for me. I can't do anything against this. I can't do anything against this as an ISO. But as an ISM, I do have access to be able to take action against this. So if I want to approve this, I could click the Take Action button. And when I click the Take Action button, I could then authorize or approve this. And once I approve this, it will move from the in approval now over here to completed. So that's the basics of what our tasks and pieces look like. Now, when I'm looking at monitoring strategy and SSP approval and I see that it was approved, sometimes we ask ourselves, okay, well, who approved monitoring strategy and SSP? Well, that's when we can look at the task history. It looks like the open book here. When I click on the task history, this is going to show me that the approval for this, it was submitted by the ISM, which was myself, and then I approved this also as the ISM. So John Denny approved this as the ISM, and it gives us the date and time and when that was approved. Now let's jump inside of a task and see what it looks like when we're actually working inside of a task. So for information system description, when we click on the task and we go inside of it, this is going to look very familiar to us. So we have all the major process steps on the left-hand side, and then we have each page listed right here. So we're just going to go one page at a time here and kind of look at some of the different pages. So here's my project personnel here. I don't have any project personnel that I've put in here yet. And same thing for information system, our system interfaces. We have our system environment as well. And inside of our system environment here, we can see that we have the main location, but all the same pieces and parts that we're used to seeing within tasks are here. So we have the ability to go in and we have the ability to edit any of our tasks, such as main location. I can change this to be, Lackland Air Force Base, and we'll change the name here as well, Lackland Air Force Base, and I can change the impact to be low. We can save this off, and just like we have done in previous ones. So there's my Lackland Air Force Base. We also have the ability to add any artifacts, so we can add artifacts here. We can add artifacts directly against a piece or a testing environment here. But the adding artifacts is similar to what we've done before, where we would use the plus button, we would add the artifacts in, and we can put that in against any of our pieces. Now because I've changed this, I'm going to go ahead and mark it as being completed. And we see that just like before, now there's a check mark next to system environment as it is completed. Now if I go back out to my project again, I can see here that information system description has one of 15 steps completed. So one of the 15 steps of information system description is completed, and when I look at the process steps, I can see here there's a green system environment is completed. So these are, again, nice new features that we have to be able to see exactly what's going on with the step without actually ever having to go into that process or into that task. We can see which steps have been completed. We get the nice green check mark box here by it that lets us know that there are things that are completed. If we go back out to our project view here, we can go into a different project. So if I go into, let's say, our test 3 project here, you notice here my roles are the ISI and the PM. So depending on what I'm doing, this is in critical design review. As an ISI, I can't do critical design review. This is a read-only. This is a read-only step for me. So who has access to this step? I see that the assessment engineer and the DAO are the two that have full access to this, and the approval for this is via the AE, the AO, or the DAO, and they have 10 days to approve CDR. Even if I change my role to a PM, I still only have read-only access. Now, if we go back out to our project list one more time, and we go and we look at the project test 4, here I am as a DAO for this project. I can go in and I could take action against things like security categorization or other pieces. If there was something that was sitting in my approval area, I could approve them and wait for them and do the approvals for them, whatever needed to happen. The reports for our individual projects, we did look at the reports up here, which were the enterprise level reports that we kind of see here, but we also have the same reports within the projects themselves. So when we are looking at project level reports, we can just click on the reports area here, and we can go through and see the different reports and pieces that are similar to what we had inside of Xacta 360 the first time. But again, we're on the home page. We have lots of different pieces and parts that we can work with here. We have the projects, the project information, the assignments. We have reports. We have the approvals. We have all these different pieces. Where you'll spend the bulk of your time is right here in the My Projects. This will take you back out to that projects list here. If we want to check our assignments again, we can do this. We can go back to our projects list. Nice color coded everything here, and then going into an individual project, we can see that we have our tasks. Which tasks are active? I can change my role very quickly by clicking on a role and going into it. I can go into a task by clicking on the task, and these are very similar to what we're used to seeing in the old version of Xacta 360. So this is just kind of an overview of what you are going to expect whenever you are working with your projects and things inside of the new version of Xacta 360 2.0. I hope everybody has enjoyed this video and has enjoyed watching me kind of click around and show you some of the new pieces and parts inside of Xacta 360 that are coming your way. We're going to be doing a few more series of videos here about some of the other changes and pieces that have come along the way. But for now, let's go ahead and log out and let's call it a day. So I'm going to log out. And that was our Xacta 360 interface. I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys all around the AFIC. Have a great Air Force Day, and we'll see you.
For more great content, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel to get the latest Xacta tidbits.